How's it going, everybody? We're going to try this again. So the last time Nicole and I tried to record this, it didn't quite work the way that we had thought it was going to. So today, Nicole is going to get a speaking part. So she's done a lot of exercise demonstration, but this morning we were having a conversation about her class. So she had the last session, her last class in this session for her kettlebell class in the morning, which we've been calling Freedom Kettlebell Club for a while. But we're in the process of regrouping, and that's going to become Freedom Strength here in the near future. So as we finish up this session, we always try to kind of touch base and see, ignore that truck. We always try to see where people are at the end of each session. I always like to sit down with the coaches and be able to have a conversation to figure out, make sure that we're meeting everyone's needs. So today, Nicole and I were chatting about some of the individuals in her class and the class as a whole. So what we wanted to do is give you an idea as to what kind of changes we're seeing and what kind of progress we're seeing so that you can hear it from us, okay? So before we start with that though, can you tell me a little bit about what a class looks like?
Sure. So this class in particular, we have 3 people who are all 50 and older, and they're doing great. One is a runner, one does yoga, and one hasn't done much strength before. So we generally start the class with mobility and just chatting, foam rolling, and then we get into some skill work so we can really focus on form. And then from there we get into what we call the Metcon, metabolic conditioning, where we're getting our heart rate up and working hard with the kettlebells and different things. And then at the end of the class, it's a nice time where we can just talk about our day, talk about our week, really start our day off in a positive way because we're meeting at 6:30 in the morning. And do some cool down, more stretching and conditioning.
So it's a great way to build a community. That time at the end where we're doing in the beginning the warm up, where we're all chatting. We start with foam rolling, so everybody's laying on the floor rolling away, so we can always catch up with what's been going on. And then we do the warm up, the strength portion or the skill portion. We get to practice work with the kettlebells. Sometimes it's simple body weight movements, so it'll be push-ups or something along those lines. But sometimes it's more than that. Sometimes it's a kettlebell swing or a clean or something along those lines. And then we get into typically the metabolic conditioning. How long does that last?
Usually 12 to 15 minutes of movement.
Yeah, so it's not all that intimidating to do 10 minutes of movement, including like we said, we have a person who's done yoga for most of her exercise career. Mm-hmm. We have another person who's been a runner. She's done triathlons and that kind of stuff. And another guy who really hasn't trained a whole lot, but he's getting into it because he realizes the value of it. Mm-hmm. So the variety of people brings a variety of experiences, which also makes it fun as well. So that's a little bit about how the class works. Tell me a little bit about some of the improvement that you've seen in just this session with the class as a whole.
Okay, everyone's doing great. So just from this session, they're always 4 weeks long. Everyone is improving on their form, which then makes it easier for them to bump up in weight. So every single person in the class this session, in my class, and probably in all the other ones, is really paying more attention to form and lifting heavier weights on every movement, the deadlift, the swing, the clean, squats and lunges also. Yeah, everything really.
So it's nice to know that as you improve your technique, you can improve the weight, but we're not overly concerned about the weight. We always want to push people a little bit, but it's got to be within their comfort zone, right? So we don't necessarily want you to come in here and lift the heaviest thing we have on the floor, because if you're not doing it correctly, we don't want you to do it.
Yeah, and one example of that, today in our Metcon part of our workout, somebody started heavier and she was gassing out, so she took a lighter weight, and that's fine. So we never go to failure, so we always want to make sure everyone's form looks good. Not focus so much on the weight, but the form.
The form is the key, right? So tell me a little bit about the individual that you were telling me about earlier this morning.
Yeah, as far as progress.
Yeah.
So we have one person here who hadn't done a lot of movement before, and for one movement that stuck out in my head with a reverse lunge. So the reverse lunge wasn't happening at the beginning of the session, but that's okay, so because we always have a regression and progression for people, so we can kind of meet them where they are. And so we had him start with the TRX and using his body weight to get down and up off the floor, and then that was looking good, posture was getting better, so we went to a split squat hold where we're just holding in midair in a squat position, split squat position, and then from there that looked good, so then he started coming up and down off of the floor, and then when that looked good and was getting stronger, we progressed him with weight. So now he's doing the split squat with weight rather than just body weight. So that was a huge improvement.
Now that wasn't just this session,
No,
right?
that
Was
was a
over a
couple
couple months. So
sessions, yeah.
it takes a little bit of time, but
Yeah.
if you listen to what Nicole's talking about, this isn't about necessarily being the strongest guy in the gym.
Right.
This is about being able to move in his normal daily life, right?
And
So
move well.
yeah, and in a safe way,
Yeah.
right? So he's not putting himself in danger.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about too that I didn't mention earlier, but one of the ways that we kind of judge the improvement for the class is through a benchmark workout.
Right.
So we try to, the first session or first class rather of each session, we have a workout, and then we try to do the same workout at the end of the session. So over a 4-week period, what kind of changes can people make? So tell me about what you typically see with those benchmarks, or you can talk about this one specifically if you want.
This benchmark was a ladder. So we started with 10 of each movement and worked our way down to 1 on their time frame. So they did 10 swings, 10 goblet squats, and 10 push-ups, and then 9 of everything and so on. Huge. I mean, this probably was the biggest improvement I've seen in a benchmark with this group from beginning to end. So, but huge improvement with the form and huge improvement with just swinging a heavy or kettlebell. We went from swinging a 35 up to 50. So people were just killing it this morning. And same with push-ups. Like we had people start up high and then progress down to like a bench level. We had some people start on the bench and get to the floor, but really focusing on how to do things the right way. So they did really well. Really well.
It's a really cool way to be able to kind of evaluate what kind of progress you make. And sometimes in a month, you may not see a whole lot of progress with the benchmark workout, but in other months, you can see a big jump.
Yeah.
So it just gives you a way to kind of measure it. So this is what we're doing now. This is what Freedom Strength looks like.
Yeah.
So if you guys have questions or like to become a part of it, just send us a message. Feel free to email Nicole at info@freedom-chiro.com, or you can always call the office, 410-795-0400. We appreciate any questions you have, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. So thank you for watching this video, and take care. Have a great day.
Thanks.